All right, this was in the beginning of uh, of Chabad in New York, maybe in the 50s. There were all sorts of Jews that lived in Crown Heights. There was a lot, big Hasidic groups and everything. And when the neighborhood changed and started getting a little bit dangerous, and non-Jews, whatever, moved in, so everybody left except for the Rebbe. The Rebbe said, "We're not leaving." But that was later on. That was later on. But before that, there was a lot of different types of Jews. So there was a family from Hungary, a father and a mother and a child. It could be that they were Holocaust survivors because the Rebbe started to become Rebbe in 1951. So this was, they were just these survivors. They're just, either coming to America or just getting acclimated in America. Anyway, so there were these religious Jews, Hungarian Jews. In general, the Jews from Hungary, they're very, they're Jews, they're very kind and they're very giving and everything, but they're also, sometimes they can be very, how do you say, adamant and emotional about certain things. When things get, against what they want, politics and things like that, they can be. Okay, so here, this is the story. So this boy, they lived in the neighborhood of Chabad. This boy was religious. But he became friendly with some boys from Chabad, and he started learning in the yeshiva, and he became Chabad. The parents said, okay. But then they started making shidduchim for him. He went on shidduchim. Now the boy knows that his mother is going to be very, very, very strict about who he gets married to, and she has to have her say. She's the boss of the house. She has to have a say in everything, which is good. She cares about her son. She cares about her. Anyway, so he meets a girl and he likes her, and they ask the Rebbe what they should do, and the Rebbe said it's right. They should get married. They should get married. And so he comes home and he says to his mother, "Good news." His mother said, "Oh yeah, how are things in the yeshiva?" He says, "Oh, good, but that's not the good news. The good news is I'm engaged to be married." His mother said, "What?" "Yeah, good news. I'm engaged to be married. A wonderful girl." And goes, "You didn't ask me. You didn't come and talk to me first. I want to see the girl. I want to see who she is." He says, "No, I asked the Rebbe. I asked the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and the Rebbe didn't say, consult with your parents or, some. The Rebbe said it's good. So if the Lubavitcher Rebbe said it's good, for sure." I said, "What are you talking about?" The Rebbe says, "Who's this? Who's this person?" "Which he's your mother. He's your father. He's a rabbi. A rabbi is going to tell you what to do with your life. He can tell you what to do with the Torah, with the commandments, give you advice on how to pray and Judaism. But who are you going to get married? You're going to be with this woman the whole rest of your life just because some rabbi tells you." He says, "No, but the Rebbe, I'm a follower of the Rebbe, and I realize how great the Rebbe is." She said, "Listen, you better break this thing off." He said, "No, the Rebbe said, And so his mother starts yelling. He leaves the house. He doesn't come home for a couple of days. One day, his mother comes into the place of learning. All the boys are sitting and they're learning, and maybe 100 boys. Who knows how many there were learning back then? And she goes up to her son and she slaps him in the face. And all the boys are sitting there learning, and she slaps him in the face and says, "You're not going to get married to this girl, and that's it. That's it." And she leaves without a laugh. And so another one of the boys there, in general, in Chabad, they're, friendly, they know how to sort of, roll with the punches, like they say. So one of the other boys came and he started talking to the mother, and he said to her, "Listen, the Rebbe is a very reasonable person. The Lubavitcher is a very reasonable person. He's a very down-to-earth person. I'm sure you can convince him that if it's a wrong thing, then he's not going to stick with his opinion just to be from stubbornness. Put your side of the argument there, and maybe you can convince him that it went too fast. At least talk to the Rebbe about it. You'll see he's a very friendly person, and he's so." And he said, "And not only that, it's not going to help. There's going to be a big rift in your family, so maybe at least understand where it's coming." So she said, "You're right. You're right. I'm going to talk to this Rebbe. I'm going to show him. We're going to see what's going on." So they arranged a yechidus. This is in the 50s, so it was much easier. The boy was waiting outside for his mother. She went in. 5 minutes later, she came out with a big smile, and she said, "It's the shidduch is on. Mazel tov, mazel tov." Gives her son a big hug and a kiss. This is wonderful. So he said, "What did the Rebbe say? How did he turn you around like that?" So she said, "Well, I went into the Rebbe, and I was very impressed. I was very impressed. He's a very nice person I saw, and he's a person that I felt I could really talk to. I could really talk to, and that he wasn't, going to hold his opinion, against everything. I said it, and that's it. So I realized I could talk to him. So that calmed me down. So I said, Lubavitcher Rebbe, I have my son. I love my son. I brought my son up. I think I should have been consulted before there was given an okay for this shidduch. Maybe she's a nice girl. I don't even know who she is, but I don't think that that's right. That my son just announced it, and excuse me for saying that you agreed to this match without consulting me, without my opinion. So he said, the Rebbe said to me that I'm right, 100%. I should. And the Rebbe said, to tell you the truth, I had doubts. I had doubts if what I said was right. Whatever my feelings. He said, so I went up into the upper heavens and I checked the books of shidduchim, and I saw that it was a match from heaven. But then when I heard that you came into the place where they were learning, and that you were really very angry, so I thought maybe I made a mistake. So I went up again and I looked in the books in heaven, and I saw I didn't make a mistake, that it's right. She said, I looked at the Rebbe and I realized that he was saying the truth. I don't know what he was talking about, but he actually went up to the heavenly books of matches and marriage, and he saw that this was, like they say, a match made in heaven. And I saw this man was really, telling me the truth. And so I realized that there is such a thing as matches made in heaven, and this man, he can look into those books. So Mazel Tov, if it says in the heavens, and the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe says it. So what does it mean? The Rebbe wasn't just making this up to satisfy her, and the Rebbe didn't just make it because he had a hunch, that this was right, and he just was sticking with his hunch, and his hunch is better than the mother's hunch. No, the Rebbe is really saying that that God cares so much about each and every individual, and not only about every individual, but what each and every individual does. And because after all, every moment is a marriage. We're meeting with the world. What do we do with the world? That's a sort of a type of a marriage. How we get along. If we make fruit from the world, if there's offspring from good things. So every little detail is important to God. We have free will. We can do whatever we want. It's our choice. But there is good and bad. There is right and wrong. There are matches that are made in heaven. And the whole idea of the Rebbe and the Mashiach is he knows what these matches are, and he's trying to encourage and inspire the Jewish people to consummate the wedding, to make these matches. And the biggest match is going to be the big wedding between God and the Jewish people. The Holy Temple will be the marriage canopy. The Torah will be the wedding ring. And the Mashiach will be the Shadchan. He'll be the one that makes the matchmaker between God and the Jewish people. Should it happen right now, immediately. And so on tomorrow, 8:15, we will learn. We'll finish this beautiful speech that the Rebbe gave at the Bar Malchut. Have a good day with Mashiach now. Thank you very much for coming.